My career in law enforcement, I actually joined the Brotherhood of Freemasons.
Okay. Yeah, how'd you get into that? How'd you get into that?
Man, you know, a lot of cops are involved with that.
Really?
Oh yeah. It is. It's a thing that I'm not saying you must do, but 95% of them do. One of my supervisors, he was a lieutenant. Pretty much came up to me and asked me, "Hey, you want to join a club?" And I'm like, "What kind of club is it?" You know what I mean? Right. Well, it's a Freemasons. I did my background, on them and did my research. And
yeah, sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, you sworn never to divulge any information, but to always protect and help your fellow brother. That's it. But see, if you start exposing them, they'll go after you. They'll go after your family. They'll try to kill you because the government is part of it. It's not only civilians. The government is in cahoots with these people.
Right, right.
And in there's sectors throughout the whole country that's split apart. I don't know if it's northeast, south, and west, but they have witches that are in charge of these sectors and warlocks that are in charge of these sectors, and they pretty much monitor the satanic. I'm going to use the satanic, members. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are politicians heavily involved in witchcraft. And they have to do certain rituals and certain things in order for them to gain favor with the Rothschilds, and then they send orders of doing things for that family.
Wow.
They give them orders, and with those orders money comes with it.
Exactly.
They're all demons. They're all demon possessed. They're vessels. They're fleshly vessels that are compartmentalized. They're like shattered. They shatter their brains, and it's just like MK Ultra, right? They use MK Ultra to break the minds of people, and then they mold them the way that they want them to go.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Or satanic ritual abuse. That all comes together with the Freemasons.
Guys, to think about your mental hospitals. A lot of your horror movies are based around asylums, mental asylums. Most of us know that there was tortures that went on in the mental asylums, lobotomies, different types of things like that. Those things are real. A lot of your MK Ultra survivors have been through mental hospitals. A lot of them get put back into mental hospitals to reset their programming if it starts to break down. A lot of your survivors have been raped in mental hospitals. A lot of them have been put in dental type chairs for programming and resetting purposes. Most of the survivors that you come across are going to be terrified of the dentist, and there's a reason for that. They use a lot of medications for programming as well. For instance, your CPS kids will all be on different types of medication. If you go buy a medication and you pull out that pamphlet that comes with it, there's a big long thing with risks and side effects and those type of things. They have to test those medications on people, and they test them on the people that are in the mental hospitals. They test them on the children in CPS care because they can give them the medications and find out the side effects and use them for experiments. So there's so many layers of things that are being done. It's just the worst evil that you've ever seen.
I went into mental hospitals. Hard because I started seeing the corruptness in the mental hospitals, and that became my fault too. She was in the hospital when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was going to Boniol Elementary in San Bernardino, California. I also went to Del Rosa Elementary in San Bernardino, California. But at the time that I was going to Boniol, she was put into Patton, the hospital for the criminally insane. I don't know why. And I don't remember. I remember some of it, but I don't remember a lot of it. But I had to go on visitation to Patton. Boniol Elementary sits on the same street right next door, pretty much, to Patton Hospital. And I would have to go visit her. And when I visited her, weird things happened. They would put me on a table and play that clown game with me. You know how you try to stab your hands and not miss with a knife? They would put me on a table and they would put food around me and they would stab at me. I remember that. I was 15 in the 10th grade. By the time I went into Child Protective Services, first I went to Riverside ETS and Chino Hills Mental Hospital. I was in Chino Hills for a month in a psych ward. The nurses there and the psych ward had a system, and they knew that everybody was on medication, so they could get away with things like sexual abuse, pictures, writing fake things in the chart but discussing it over someone's bed. And because they thought you were high and drugged, they didn't think you'd remember. But I wasn't supposed to be on medication. I was given medication, but I wasn't supposed to be on it. There was no reason. And one night I was awake when two nurses came in the room. My roommate had sliced her arm. She sliced it from here down. And they used to always have to change her bandages because she would try to reopen them at night. And I never understood why. She would scream and she would try to reopen them. I'd wake up in pain and I didn't know why. And then one day I didn't take my medicine. And the nurses came in our room and they were talking over our bed about changing the charts. About nobody would believe the kids because they're already crazy. They took pictures after they took her clothes off. And when they came to my bed, I started fighting. They threw me in solitary confinement for a week. I wanted to die. I remember the social worker coming out and telling me that they were going to send me back to my biological mother. And I remember telling them that if whatever happens, just know that I'm coming back in a body bag. Because I know that somebody is going to get a hold of me, and nobody wanted me to tell the truth. So they put me in foster care.
When Ally was put in foster care, I was advocating for her, and I was reporting back, and I was writing reports and turning in reports to CPS.